Hi Taurus, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys are doing really well. So welcome to your season. Happy birthday Taurus, my love. This year, North Node in the sign of Taurus, Water Tiger, Chinese Zodiac, there is so much happening in your sign at the moment. Uranus has been on this really long journey in your sign, and this has had so much to do with where you live, who you live with, your money, doing things differently, you know, kind of getting things right. And I think for you, Taurus, there's been so much change, and you're not necessarily one of those signs that likes change or enjoys change so much. But I do feel like it's all leading to something a lot greater than you'd perhaps even anticipated. Let's talk about the astrology a little bit before we get into the reading. If you would be interested in booking a reading, you can do so on the website rubyreadstarot.com. If you wish to leave a donation to the channel, you can find out where to do so in the description box. Leave me a comment, smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. The deck was charging with Bullseye, and I wanted to get it prepared and ready for your energy. Taurus, I feel as if this year hasn't necessarily been the easiest of years for you, and I do feel like you're almost like, I just want to give up. And I don't think you get to do that. I don't think you get to do that. So, on the 2nd of May, Venus enters the sign of Aries, and after a really sweet period of being in Pisces, love gets a little bit serious now, and it's about making long-term plans, it's about being spontaneous, it's about doing the fun thing, it's even about, like, acting impulsively. And for you, Taurus, that may not sound very comfortable, but I think it might be a nice change to the atmosphere, okay? So, try do things differently, especially when it comes to love. Okay, so on the 10th, the Mercury retrograde starts in the sign of Gemini, and communication can get a bit, like, whenever Mercury goes retrograde in the sign of Mercury, for me, this isn't a bad time. This is where communication gets really rich. You know, it's about the intellect, it's about the intelligence, it's about the movement. Mercury stationing and then going into retrograde in a mutable air sign, right? It's about how you overcome matters of intellect that you may have been stuck on for a while. That might mean ideas that have been, you know, formed in your mind and have kind of cemented in and grown firm and rigid. You might find that a lot of the way that you have been thinking changes now. Sorry, let's just put our deer back a little bit. There we go. And with the full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, your opposite sign, on the 15th, I feel like this is going to open up a bit of a can of worms when it comes to desire, fetish, sexuality, dark things, you know, things that we don't normally talk about, but these are things that are well hidden within us. When it goes into a full moon lunar eclipse, right, this is where you're really kind of being asked to expose certain hidden things about yourself, bring them out, so that they can kind of become part of the norm, or the new norm of who you are. On the 20th, the sun moves into the sign of Gemini, and I think Mercury retrograde moves into your sign on the 22nd. Now, this is where, for you, Taurus, you're really being invited to be really true to yourself. Like, it doesn't matter what anybody else says, does, once. What your innermost truth is has to be honored. It absolutely has to be honored. Mars moves into the sign of... the sun moves into Gemini on the 20th, and then Mars, the planet of war, moves home into the sign of Aries, and that's it. Game over. No more playing, no more dilly-dallying. It's about getting it done, okay? You'll see a lot of movement in your life. On the 28th, Venus moves into your sign, and things get really, really lovely. They get dreamy, they get romantic, they get sweet, they get full of all of the wonderful joys of life. I feel like you'll be shopping more. I feel like you'll be indulging in, like, luxury goods. I think you may be buying a house, you may be moving. It's all about the yumminess, okay? It's about indulgence. And so do it, have fun, and don't be frugal. Don't even worry about where the next is coming from, because we're earth signs. Manifesting more is easy peasy lemon squeezy. And I think this month, your season, is going to just show you how you may have been overcomplicating a lot of things, and that's not your fault, you know. The astrology this year has been quite intense for the best part, and it's really just about you making strides forward at this point. Even though Mercury is retrograde in your sign, it's still about moving forward. Venus enters Taurus, yes, we discussed that on the 28th, and then on the 30th there is a new moon in the sign of Gemini. Taurus, celebration, man. What are you celebrating? I think this is your birthday. I feel like this year you're going to have a birthday to remember. I feel like you've got a lot of people that love and support you, that are on your side, around you. This is a really, really fun month. I feel like you will be out and about for the most part. You'll be surrounded by your mates and your friends. And it's just asking you, Taurus, to relax and have a good time. It's about a leisurely pace. We're not forcing anything. Work gets done because it always gets done. And it's not about being stressed out at all. No way. Regardless of what the astrology says. This is about going out, meeting with your people, making new friends if you must, soul family, reuniting, having a good time, going out. Cheers to the freaking weekend. That's the Five of Swords. After a really heavy period of having to battle out Seven of Cups and the Ten of Cups. Taurus, I think it's safe to say that there's been a lot of animosity, especially within the family, and I do feel like you may have been left a bit unsure. There is this dreamy, illusionary Piscean energy where there are things that are just not really making sense to you in regards to family dynamics, especially when it comes to having observed the level of conflict that you have. And I think you're really looking at right now what is real, who is real, especially when it comes to your family members, family and friends. But I do think this is more so your family. I do think that there is a mask that you need to take off, and you need to be very, very, very aware and assertive, especially when it comes to either being gaslit or manipulated or cheated out of what's rightfully yours, Taurus. I think you've got to pay real heavy attention, or not to do that to anybody else either. I think you've got to pay real heavy attention, ooh, this is yours, to where your mind's at. That's the Nine of Swords. I think there is confusion, there are traumas, there are things that need your utmost attention. And I do feel like this isn't the time, Taurus, for you to be pouring that energy out towards anyone else. I do feel like this is a time for you to have fun and recuperate, okay? I think you've come out of a really stressful, toxic, tense period with family or your partner or people who feel like family. And I think it's made a lot of things clear about who your people are and who your people are not. Ultimately, you're celebrating this birthday like the Empress that you are, okay? Abundance is your birthright. And I do also feel like there is a partnership, a marriage, a proposal. There's even pregnancies. And I think you may have been worried and stressed out about where is it? Why is it not here yet? Why don't I feel good? And I do think, Taurus, your season with North Node in your sign, I'm not going to promise that this is going to be easy. I am going to say, though, once the lesson's done, you're going to be grateful for it because you'll be a better person. And I do think all of this energy of unsurety is really just pushing you into a place of really loving on yourself and respecting yourself and honoring yourself in a way that you haven't before. And that might even include the partnerships that you are involved in. And I have a really, really big feeling, Taurus, that you might be meeting the love of your life, that you marry and have a very happy, content family with. And it's about you getting a little bit out of your own way. You know, yesterday I did the bizarrest thing. I never watch violence. I'm not drawn to it. I'm not attracted to it. Unless it's UFC. And in that case, it's a whole different story. Like, men beating each other. Okay, stop, Ruby. Ah! But yesterday, I wanted to get into Taurus energy. And so I've been listening to Jazz for Cows, which I've got Taurian placements. And I can really relate when they all come forward for the jazz. The music really, you know, makes them jolly. And they're kind of like toing and froing. And you can see that. And I really relate to that. I really relate to that in my own way. Like, put on some good jazz and I am like toing and froing, and it's so simple and it's so easy. And for the most part, for you, Taurus, life is always like that. It's very jolly. It's very easy to have a lot of fun. But I do feel like there is this duality. I was watching the matadors fighting the bulls, and I thought to myself, like, I kind of always want the bull to win. Do you know what I mean? And I do feel like there is this energy about you, Taurus. I kind of always want you to win. But then I look at these things that kind of fall into your life about, you know, being very easily disillusioned, perhaps by... Sometimes it's important to say that you do this to yourself, okay? And then the Five of Swords, it's about the company that you keep. And sometimes you do this to yourself also when you know, like, okay, this isn't necessarily the best company for me. It's going to result in me feeling a little bit stressed out more than I should, or negative energy rubbing off on you. I think that's something you got to be really careful of this month. Other people's negative energy rubbing off on you. It's not about the conflict anymore. It's about the peace. It really is all about the peace. It's about you falling aligned into celebrating a really happy family home dynamic. Okay, this is the utmost contentment. You are being your true self. So when you allow yourself to be your true self, partnerships align. So the necessity this month for you to stay out of your own way, stop poking and prodding yourself, stop looking for people that will poke and prod you, and leave you in a place where you're not sure about what's right and what's wrong. Taurus, the Empress, that's your energy, that's abundance. Do you think she cares? Well, she's on that abundant throne of hers with that big old crown on her head. Do you really think she cares? Let bygones be bygones. Don't be susceptible to other people's pokes and prods. Don't poke and prod anyone else right now. It's just not the time for it, Taurus. I think it's a good idea for you to celebrate your riches. Let the abundance flow to you. Let this month be about you. The lovers. What did I say about you meeting love? I really do think you're going to fall into a really, oh yes. I feel like this month is a rebirth for you. Piscean energy has been strong, and it's been about you bringing back the balance, okay? And so there is a rebirth, Ten of Swords. After a period of really having to self-illuminate, and really look at your part within stuff, I do feel like there is the death of who you were and the birth of who you are now. And I do feel like you're coming through really strong as this Empress energy. And so I do think take your time, celebrate what you know makes you feel empowered. Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus energy is strong here. I do feel like that's your own energy. Could potentially be a fellow earth sign. Your fortune's really about to change, and I feel like you're about to have a very, very, very nice time in love, especially with Venus going home in your sign. And this has been one of the months that I feel like you've been eagerly awaiting. You're going to have a lot of fun. That's it. It's a new beginning. It's a rebirth. Cut away from the things that you know have been conflicting. Energy vampires. Where is it that you're going that you know you don't belong anymore? Move forward. Move forward, Taurus. Okay? There's no rush. It's about you feeling the energy again. Feeling like yourself again. You go from the Ten of Swords to the Ten of Cups. Happy days, Taurus. Happy days. If you enjoyed the reading, do smash that subscribe button. Do leave me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. I love it when you do that. Book a reading at rubyreadstarot.com. Details are in the description box if you'd wish to leave a donation to the channel. Mwah! All of my love to you. Happy, 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 happy birthday. Woohoo!